Masters event? Yeah. Sorry, these guys caught me a little bit off guard. I'm honored to be the last speaker. There's some amazing speakers these last few days. I know we all learned a lot. Today, I'm going to talk to you guys about seven-figure success, growing a marketing agency in challenging times. My whole goal today, you guys, is just to inspire and motivate. Is that okay with you guys? Yeah. Right on. My name's Spencer Hart. I'm the CEO of Spray Foam Genius Marketing. A little bit about me. I'm a husband and a father. From 2010 to 2022, I owned an insurance agency. 2019, Plant Powered Marketing was born, and in July of 2023, Spray Foam Genius Marketing. 2019, Plant Powered Marketing was born out of accident. Let me tell you how this happened. So, as owning an insurance agency, I had started to create Facebook ads for new home buyers. In exchange, I was passing leads to mortgage people, realtors, and loan officers for verbal commitment to have them send me 100% of their insurance deals. So as I was doing this, I started to find out that a lot of the people I was sending leads to at the time, and if you guys know anybody that's in the mortgage business, they're lazy. They didn't value what I was doing. So I had a conversation with my wife, because every month I was going in the hole, crossing my fingers, that insurance deals were going to be coming into me. So I sat down with Jen, and I remember exactly where we were. We went to this Chinese restaurant, and I said, babe, I don't know if I can continue to keep doing this. I'm going in the hole. I'm counting on these people to send me deals for insurance. Some of them are doing it, some aren't. She said, you need to go to a paid model. I said, but what if? What if they stop? What if they don't pay me? So we went to a paid model, and some stayed on, some didn't. About this same time, I learned about the rank and rent business. We built sites in landscaping, deck and fence. Soon after, we expanded to other contracting niches. And about this time, I was doing about $4,000 a month. January 2020, I was at my insurance agency and got a phone call from my sister. She had stage 4 ovarian cancer. Things didn't look good. Fast forward, COVID hits. Anybody relate to this? 2020, the scent of COVID, right?
If you could smell.
You can smell from here still, can't you, Dan?
No, if you had COVID, you couldn't smell it.
True that. March of 2020, early. We didn't know much about COVID. Both my wife and I got it. Jen ended up spending 80% of the first year bedridden. She was in and out of the hospital and doctor's appointments. It was an extremely high stress situation for me. But on the other hand, anybody that knows me in this room knows that brought huge amounts of motivation for me. I want to point out this picture. This picture means a lot to me. This is before she got sick. It was our last trip to the beach. And I look back on things, and that was a period of time that time kind of stopped, right? Life was a lot easier then in some ways. June of 2020, I'm running 2 businesses from home. I have full responsibility of the kids in the house, and I feel like I'm drowning in stress. So I got on the phone with my therapist, and I said, for about the first half hour, I told him what was going on. And his response to me was, Spence, what are you doing for yourself? And I said, Dean, did you not hear me the last half hour? Did you not hear what I was telling you? That I am taking care of 2 businesses, I have my kids to take care of. I have the house. It's dirty. I got to do all the cooking and the cleaning and everything. And he says, yeah, but what are you doing for yourself? I said, I don't have no time, man. I said, what do you suggest? He goes, I like to spend time out in the woods all by myself in a hammock. Now, I know what you guys are all thinking. This sounds crazy. I said, you mean you go to the woods and you put up a hammock? And what do you do? He says, I don't do anything. Now, you guys, at that period of time in 2020, this was extremely uncomfortable. It was weird. But you know what? I said, what's the commitment financially? He said, well, probably about $150 for REI. I said, cool, man, I'm in. Because at this period of time, I've never felt anything like this in my life. So I've been doing this now for the last 4.5 years. Fast forward, August 2020, we became a 6-figure agency. The reason why? Contractors were answering their phone. Most of them were at home. This was like a perfect storm for us. End of August, I took a chance on mindset. Those that know me know I grew up in a very traumatic household. Grew up around people. I like to tell people I grew up in a house, people that were financially poor as well as mindset poor. I never saw anybody successful in my life. So Jen's sick. I tell her I'm going to start 75 hard. She said, why the fuck now? I said, why not? I have an excuse. I started to think more positive, and I gave myself the option to change who I have been. Around this period of time, my wife Jen, she's featured on CNN several times to talk about her struggles with long COVID. For those that don't know what long COVID is, it's anybody that's had COVID but has long-term effects. It could be anything from neuropathy, where you have problems in your hands and your feet. It could be somebody's extreme as her that has neurological damage in only 60% of her lungs. March of 2021, I was introduced to that guy. And our friend Justin connected us. Patrick's memory of how we're connected is a little bit different than mine. But I had snagged a picture of Licne. Somebody did a post with a picture of his heat map software. And at the time, I didn't know that there was a difference between all the other competitors in Licne. My friend Justin says to me, he said, hey man, I see you're using my buddy's software. What are you talking about? He goes, that's my friend Patrick's software. Let me connect you guys. So I started beta testing Patrick's software. We became friends. July of 2021, we were forced to buy a house. Landlord decided to sell. During the pandemic, if you guys remember, they weren't able to evict due to anything except for selling. So we had to work quickly. My wife's still sick, and we spent 3 weeks homeless, living at a friend's house because of the period of time when we closed on our home and we were out of this facility, or our rental house. September 2021, I reached out to Patrick for coaching. Patrick didn't have time, but he shared with me this method. It's called the Trojan horse method that you've heard us talk about. Example of the Trojan horse method. For those in the back, I'll read it. This was a post that we did on several Facebook groups. This one happened to be, said, hey guys, we had our best quarter ever in our company, and part of our mission is to give back. I'd like to help out a few of you guys with the Google My Business audit. I don't want anything from you. This is not a pitch. Just to be clear, I'm not trying to sell anything. This is some free advice to help a few people set things up for an awesome 2022. These take some time to do, so I'm only going to do 10. If you're interested, shoot me a PM or add a comment. January 2022, I manifested Tesla X. Now, long story short, I didn't really believe in manifestation at this time. I'm still working on this idea of positive thinking. So I go in, I'm seeing this gal that's teaching me about a subject that Jeff had spoken about. emotional intelligence. I call her an emotional intelligence coach. And I didn't know anything about her, except for the fact is that I had started manifesting this Tesla, and she said, well, have you ever rode in one? I was like, no. She said, let's go for a ride. So we go for a ride. She goes, you ever drove one? I was like, no, never drove one. She said, let's pull in here. I'll let you drive. You guys have to understand, at the time, these are $120,000 cars. And this lady is just going to let me drive her Tesla X. So we get back to her office, and she says, hold on. Let me take a picture of you. So she takes a picture. She said, I want you, when you get home, to put this in a spot that you can see it every day. So I print that bad boy up, slap it right on the wall next to my computer, and every day I look at this picture of me in the Tesla. Period of time, I did a post. Do you believe in manifesting your future? A few months ago, I started manifesting and working towards getting a Tesla X for our family. Yesterday, I became even one step closer to owning one. I got a test drive and experience a Tesla X. What are you manifesting in your life today? But I also did set a goal that I wasn't going to buy one until I hit $40K a month. Because just like Patrick, Jeff, Chris talk about, I'm motivated by setting myself goals in order to reward myself. So fast forward, April 2022, we're doing 25K months consecutively or consistently. And the way that we did this was we rented lead gens, we increased rent, we sold some websites, we sold some SEO packages, as well as we sold some GMBs optimized. June 2022, I finally decided to part ways with my insurance agency. Running two companies, I felt like I was over here running around, going over here running around. It was just too much. I could not focus. So I part ways with the insurance agency. August 2022. My aunt loses her battle with cancer. Now, I hadn't had a great relationship with my aunt for the last year. She's my mom's sister. And unfortunately, my mother happened to, let's just say COVID really put my mom into a bad place mentally. And if any of those people in here have energy vampires in their life, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I was raised by an energy vampire, and I didn't realize it until we had COVID. We couldn't spend a lot of time together. And my mom had a conversation with me, and she said, the last time I talked with her was, your aunt has cancer, and when she dies, nobody's going to give a shit about me. And from a child that raised an adult or raised their parent, I had to tell her, that's not true, Mom. I love you, but unfortunately, unless you're able to take care of your mental health, I can't be part of your life anymore. So, as we are checking into a hotel, Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, my wife and I going down on a vacation, I get a phone call from a local coroner that tells me, unfortunately, Spencer, I'm at your mom's house and she's deceased. And at this period of time, they thought it was because of natural causes. Until I had to bring up the question, are you sure she died naturally? He said, well, what do you mean? Why do you say that? I said, well, because I was at a doctor's appointment, and they're inquiring about if she had ever thought about suicide. She said, oh yeah. How would you do it? I just overdosed on insulin. She was a diabetic. So I had brought this up to the coroner's attention, and he started putting the pieces together. She had her insulin by her, and come to find out, she took her life with insulin. Now, anybody that knows me, I'm stubborn. Nobody's gonna knock me off my fucking game. I went to Mexico to propose to Jen, and getting the notification that my mom took her life wasn't going to stop me. Jen's actually surprised this day that I went through with things because of the circumstances. She says yes. December 2022. Consistent 40K months finally. 11 months since the manifestation and the hard work. I pick up the Tesla X. Setting goals with rewards has always been something that I've been motivated by. I remember when I first started in the business, this Apple iWatch on my wrist. I know it's not much money, but I remember I was setting, that was the carrot I would dangle until I could hit things. Fast forward, February 2023, the first Rank Masters event in Miami. I'm stuck at 40K months. Patrick and I and some other you guys are sitting in roundtable events. And Patrick finds out I'm selling one-off services. I think his mind almost exploded when he was like, what? You're not selling packages, you're selling like a one-off website, and then you'll have to come back and resell that guy on an optimized GMB. And I said, yeah, I didn't know any different. Oh man, I can tell you that day is when things changed, because he also encouraged me to niche down. That's also when the Rank Masters coaching program was announced. And if anybody knows, I was one of the first to, hell yeah, I'm in, right? It didn't matter if he was going to charge me 10 or 100,000. I'm in. July 2023, the Rank Masters event. Who was there? You guys remember? Spray Foam Spencer was announced. I had no fucking clue what I was doing or what I was saying, but here's the thing. I always jump without a parachute, knowing I'll figure it out. That's just who I am. July 28, 2023, which is tomorrow's anniversary. My sister passed away from a 4-year battle of cancer. As you guys can see, the hits keep coming. August 2023, who got hit by the review sweep? Pretty much everybody in this room. I lost 10K a month. Got set back to 30K months. Like, shit, man, when's life gonna like let up on me? August 12th, 2023, something amazing happened. I got to marry Jen. Patrick was there. And what an amazing, amazing day that we had. One thing that I learned about this, you guys, whenever there's a dark storm, after it passes, there's always a sunny day. August 12th was one of those days. December 2023, I sold a lower price offer to get an injection of cash into the agency. It was a $1,000 offer. I knew I wasn't going to make a lot of money, but I needed to replace some of that income that I had lost from the Google review sweep. So we added an additional 10 to 12K MOR in December 23. December 23, we also started recording social clips in a podcast studio. This built the know, like, and trust that Chris Moore, our coach, talks about. I don't know how many client conversations that I have that say, Spence, I see you all over the place. I saw this one episode or this one clip that you talked about X, Y, or Z. I could relate. A lot of stuff that we talk about on there is mindset, motivation, life journey type things. But once in a while we do get a little controversial. The blows keep coming. January 2024, Les's daughter, her oldest daughter, Shannon, my cousin, passes away of a heart attack. She was like 55 years old. She walked out of a movie theater and dropped dead. So I was breaking into the spray foam community. I started to make connections with vendors and suppliers, and also work in the Facebook group slowly to get traction. Who was at the January 2024 event? I got my momentum. My momentum was back, right? We're back up to 40K months because I sold that lower priced offer. And I stood in front of everybody that was there. And I said, by July Rank Masters event, I will be a 7-figure agency. Now, everybody was there. Do you think I had a game plan? Do you think I bit off more than I could fucking chew at that time? Do you think I wanted to show up here and not be a 7-figure agency? So whoever said coming back here and saying that I failed, that was exactly that. Their psychology that Jeff has talked about is when we speak about our goals outward, guess what? You're putting it out in the universe. And to me, if I state what I'm going to do, I'm going to win. There's no other option for me. Beginning of March 2024 at the Spray Foam Convention, Las Vegas, right? We geotagged the hotel with Facebook ads. We showed up to all the functions like Einstein's. This is my 17-year-old son, my 17-year-old content producer, and myself. Do you guys think walking around a room, a convention center with multiple, I think it's about 2,000 to 3,000 people staring at you because you're like Sesame Street, one of these things is not like the other, is comfortable? No. I was out of place. And everywhere we went, it didn't matter if you're walking through the casino to get to the convention. People are like, what the hell is going on here?
That's weird in Vegas.
It's weird in Vegas, right? Which not a lot that's weird in Vegas. But you know what? I knew that if I separated myself, we would become memorable. And these spray foam contractors would go, I remember that dude. When we got back, I had a ton of people that said, dude, I tried talking with you, but you had people surrounding you. You had people always talking with you. Do you think I felt that way? There was a lot of times I felt like, oh God, what do I need to be doing? I've already talked to these vendors once. I don't know what else to be doing. We also did something that's very gimmicky. I ran it by my coaches, especially this one right here, Chris Moore, and he was like, not quite sure about that, but you can go ahead.
Try it.
So what we did, some of you guys that are in 7-figure agency, know Matt Platt, and we basically stole his money giveaway. What it was we had a bucket. All we wanted to do is have conversations with spray foam contractors. My son had a sign that said, chat for cash, right? Who doesn't like cash? So inside that bucket, we had anything from hundreds, 50s, 10s, 20s, and one of those $100 bills was labeled 1,000. And we had $4,000 to give away, and I was willing to go to the bank and pull out another 6. So we also ran ads talking about this, right? We're going to be outside the West Gate giving away money. And unfortunately, we had a Karen from the Spray Foam Association kind of shut that down after about $360 worth of us giving it away. But what felt like a failure to me ended up not being a failure. But it felt like a failure because we couldn't actually, put forth what we had set off to do. So March 2024, so we finish up the month at 62,000 and some change. Fast forward to April, 71, right? Now Jen, my wife, she hadn't been able to drive for a while. Neurological situations, COVID, had messed things up. The Tesla X, with the safety features and some of the technology and not having to multitask because you're just letting the foot off of the gas, allowed her to kind of start to get back and ease into driving. But you know what? She's wanted a Range Rover for her whole life. This is her spy vehicle. When she gets in it, she's like, I'm an FBI agent, right? I just drive around FBI. So we bought her a dream car. Boom. May We become a seven-figure agency and some, right? And if you guys know, because of who I am, and every time I hit a milestone, I have to treat myself, right? What do you think comes next? Those that know don't say. A Rolex? I'd like that, right? Rolex? A little Rolly? Well, we did a his and hers. I got myself the Panda, right? Now, can you imagine 3 weeks after buying your wife a Range Rover, you go back in, buy another one from the same dude? And the finance guy's like, dude, automatically approved, no problems. That's a long ways from where I came from. I was a dude that was charging things on credit cards when I was in college. I made no money. I come from no money. And be able just to flex like that, because these are $100,000 vehicles. So fast forward, life's about highlights. I had this really amazing person speak at my wedding that talked about highlights, the highlight reel. That guy happens to be Patrick Shannon. He stood in front of everybody at my wedding and shared with me about life's about highlights. This is the dinner that we went out to. Unfortunately, our son Jack wasn't there, but this was our celebratory dinner for me hitting 7 figures. This is my Pakistan team. There's 30 plus employees over there in Pakistan. These people, I've changed their lives. I show that because I couldn't do it. I couldn't be where I am today without these guys. As well, this handsome man right there in the front, Mark, Danny, and then Izzy. Just to recap, I lost 4 loved ones in 14 months. The thing that I learned about this, you guys, I know you heard this already this weekend. Patrick talked about this. Life's short. Stop waiting. You don't know when you're going to get that phone call, or that could be you. In less than 4 years, I went from 2K to 40K. It was rough. But within 4 months, we went from 40 to 90K. Growth can happen extremely quick, and you never know when those seeds that you guys plant are going to harvest into the fruits. Things I did to get here. I trusted my coaches. I'm coachable, you guys. Everybody that I work with tells me you are the most coachable person I've worked with. I don't call it faith. There's a reason why you hire a coach. And if you're not going to listen to them, then why the fuck are you hiring a coach? Just keep your money, go about your business. I niched down. That was difficult. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I had 2 successes in the spray foam business when I had, or spray foam contractors that I had success with. And I said, you know what? That seems like a good niche. It's high ticket, not a lot of competition there. So we niched down. Surrounded myself with cheerleaders. My wife, Jen, she's my biggest fan. I know that sounds cliche, but she's the one that says to me, you know what? If anybody can do this, it's going to be you. And she believes in me as well as my kids. I started recording the social clips. That bridged that gap of that know, like, and trust. People now feel like they know who I am, even though we've never even talked before. I became memorable, especially in Vegas, right? If I walked around with a frickin' Einstein setup on, people remember that crap. And they always will remember that, especially when we attend every event looking like fools. The one thing that I attribute this to, I worked my ass off. My 12-year-old daughter said, Dad, why don't you work your off with 2 money signs? That would be funny. I said, you know what, honey, that's right. Let's put that on there. I never gave up. As you guys can see, I've had many, many, many reasons to quit. There's people that I talk to, literally, they're like, I stubbed my toe this morning on a curb I think I'm taking the day off from work. That's not me, obviously, right? I never gave up. I continued to do morning walks that was left over from the 75 Hard program, and I continued to do my Forest Fridays. Questions? Love you too, man. No questions? No? What's up, man?
How long are you in the forest for, bro?
So I spend half a day out there. My alarm goes, yeah.
Every Friday?
Every Friday, rain or shine. I live in the Portland, Oregon area. It rains a lot up there. And I have what we call a rain fly that goes over my hammock. So sometimes that's down if it's going to rain. But every Friday, right at noon, I have an alarm that goes off that says the woods. And I get up and I leave and I go to the woods.
You only bring your phone or no?
I just bring my phone, obviously, just in case there's an emergency. And I lay out there and smoke weed, meditate. And, you know, I learn a lot about myself. I personally feel like our brains are like hard drives, and they can only have so much in it. So a lot of times I'm out there doing my meditations, but if anybody meditates, it's something that's called monkey mind, and it's where it's constantly interrupting your mindfulness, right? And so, but some of the best ideas that I have will come, so I'll have my phone and I'll pull out, throw a note down. But a lot of times I'm out there napping. Just literally, there's a lot of science to being in the woods and the vibration. It's called Japanese forest bathing. And I've had people ask, like, so you go out to the woods and you get naked? No. No. Oh, you do? Oh, you do a little hardcore forest bathing. So, yeah, so I spend half a day out there no matter what. And I can tell you this, that if I don't get out there, there's been periods of time where we've had forest fires and the conditions, air conditions are too bad. And there was like 3 weeks that I couldn't get out there and I felt like I was sick. Yeah. Any more questions? Yeah.
What are you gonna do next? What's next for Spencer?
Next is 2 million, man.
2 million.
2 million. I need some more awards.
Yeah.
I think there's another question over there, right?
2 million gets you a ring.
Someone else have a question?
I'll take a
I
ring.
got
I don't
one.
wear rings, but I'll take one.
Wear around your neck.
Oh, that's a good idea. What's up, Gabe?
All right, when you're sitting there, you're like, I have a million things to do.
Mm-hmm.
Your mind is just full of, cluster. Like, how do you focus, prioritize, decide what your next move is? Like, when you, let's say you got 5 different options, all seem equal. Like, how do you choose?
Are you talking about while I'm in the woods?
No, I mean,
Just in life?
just in life, in the agency, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, sometimes I'm lost. I mean, I'm just like you guys. I rely on Patrick and Chris and people like that. Hey, this is where I'm at. Like, what do I need to do next? Patrick and I are on phone calls. You know, hey, pull up your org chart. Let's take a look at it. Oh, hey, okay, you need to do this. You need to do that. And I know I made a funny one time on a call where Brian Waddle always gives me a hard time about it, but I said, I'll run around the block naked if Patrick told me to, if it would make me successful. And honestly, it's not a requirement, but I do it, right? So sometimes it's just about trying to lean on the people that are smarter than you, that have been there. You know, I look at these guys as like trail guides. You know, if you're going to go to Mount Everest, you probably, maybe you'll do it on your own, by yourself, but I'd hire somebody to take me to the top because they've been there. They know what's going on. So I rely heavily on the coaches.
I'm going to go through. I'm going to give. I shared this at the Forge Mastermind. I know Gregory asked me to repost it. I'll go through this in a minute, but I've got a really good framework. I actually posted a video on my channel last week, but I've got a good framework, a decision-making framework that I learned. I can't remember the guy's name. He wrote the book Growth Hacking. But I've got a question for you, Spencer. Looking at several of these people in here that are struggling to get to 7 figures and have kind of been in the same spot for a while, and you were stuck for a while at 40K. What do you think that you see in them that's where you used to be, and what changed, and like what advice would you have for these people?
One thing that I see, a lot of you guys think people that are, Chris or Patrick or people that are higher level financially than you guys, I think you guys think that they're special. Now they are special. I'm not taking anything away from them. But every person in this room has the same gift and the same tools. You just have to figure out what that gift is. And I see a lot of my teammates, if you want to call, because we're in the coaching program, I see a lot of you guys quit on yourselves. You guys question your own ability. I can tell you, I was a fuck up in school. I'm not smart, but I don't quit, and I also am an action taker. I already am looking at podcast names yesterday, right after that was suggested. I already have my assistant looking for somebody on Upwork that is a QuickBooks expert. A lot of you guys think that there's this perfect time to implement. Like you're sitting around going, should I? No, just do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to be at the same place as you were yesterday. So I think it's action.
Yeah, and so kind of the speed to execution too.
Yes.
Like you're like, here's the idea, I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna do it perfect.
Nope.
I'm just gonna go.
Trust me, I make mistakes every day in my life in my agency. And my kids see that and they think Dad's perfect. And I'm like, you haven't sat there and watched everything I've screwed up about. But for me, life's about learning and about experiences and about the journey. And there's more to be learned about messing up than if you knocked it out of the park and you're perfect. So there's a lot that I know now of growing an agency to 7 figures that I didn't know when I was a 6-figure agency. There's things that I know this week that I didn't know last week. Just continue to keep pushing yourselves, learning, and you'll get to the top of the mountain as well.
Awesome. Other questions?
Yeah, if you could go back, knowing everything you know today, back to January 2023, what would you have done differently?
What happened in January 23?
Just the date I chose.
Oh. What would I do differently?
Knowing everything you know now, how could you have gotten here faster?
Did you see that timeline? I saw it. It's pretty fast, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
that's 15 months, though. If you knew everything you knew today, 15 months ago, what would you have done differently? What actions would you have taken quicker?
I think
What decisions would you have made faster?
I think I believe in myself. I now walk around as a 7-figure agency owner. Call that a swagger or whatever you want to call it. But I now know that I can do it. See, when I was breaking into the spray foam niche, there was a lot of pit bulls at the guard of these Facebook groups. They weren't letting me in. They were like, dude, who's this scammer? Who's this? Who's that? I didn't have any experience. I didn't have any case studies from that business really that people knew about. They didn't know who I was. So I think there's a difference. If we could all walk around and act like you're the remodeling expert. You're an expert, Shannon, for remodeling. Gabe, you haven't niched down yet, but someday you're going to be an expert in something. And I think that's the biggest thing is like when a person that is going to go get a nose job, are they going to a general surgeon? No, they're going to a specialist, right? And the best specialist because they are niched down. So once you niche down, you can become an expert. I can't be an expert in all these different things. And once I niched down and I became the expert, and now we became like the silly face of the industry with Einstein and all this other crazy stuff, people are like, whoa, shit. Especially within a niche that people aren't used to anything. If you went and tried to do this maybe in plumbing or HVAC, it might not be as powerful because it's a little bit saturated. But there isn't really anybody within the spray foam world except for our buddy Jack Romer. And nothing against Jack, but it's business, man. I'm gonna crush it, no matter what. It wouldn't matter if it's my friend or not. So, long story short, I guess, or long answer is if you can re-identify yourself as a seven-figure agency owner today, even though you're not, have that swagger, things are going to be on point for you.
With that identity upgrade as a seven-figure agency owner, how do you act differently? How do you make decisions differently?
I mean, it's a little bit easier when you have a little bit more ching-a-ling in the bank, right?
That helps.
That helps. But I'm able to make a little bit more better decisions. There was a conversation that Patrick and I had. I was experiencing burnout. I was fucking exhausted. I hadn't had a vacation in a while. I got on a call with Patrick. It's weird. I don't know if you guys remember conversations like I do, but I know exactly where I was. I was out on my deck. We're having a conversation. Patrick kept peeling back that onion. I'm like, man, I'm almost there. Almost to seven figures, baby. But dude, I'm exhausted. I'm feeling burnt out. I got Mark. I'm training Mark up. And once I hit that seven figures, baby, I'm going to give Mark the keys to the car. And Patrick's like, why? Why not now, man? Is he ready? I said, yeah, he's ready, but I need to get to that seven-figure mark, man. He's like, but why? What inside you makes you need to hit that goal? Ask yourself, where's that come from? Is that issues with like your upbringing, childhood trauma, this or that? And I can tell you, I was smart enough at the period of time because of what Patrick said. What'd I do, Mark?
Yeah, right then and there.
Turn the keys over. I got on the phone right after Patrick, and I said, guess what, bud?
Next
You're
couple
selling
years.
full time.
Yeah.
You're ready. That's what a seven-figure agency owner does, is they make smart decisions. Sometimes you got to let your pride, your ego set aside and go in and do real business moves. And that, Mark's one of the best salespeople I've ever met. I'm smart enough to go, you know what? I'm good at sales. I almost got my company to $1 million. But you know, I know Mark's better than me. So I turned the keys over to him. And I think if we can think smarter like that, you'll be a lot more successful.
Love it.
Any more questions? Thanks, you guys.
Hey, grab your trophy. No, I'm just kidding. You can leave your trophy there. It's not going here.
Some of you guys steal it?
No, I'll fight him.
All right, I'm going to take you guys through what I shared at the Forge real quick. We didn't have this plan, but I know that I think that just like a lot has to be true for us to get to $10,000